Hey guys, welcome back to some more Night Call. When we last left off, we were on night 3. We've met some interesting characters. We met a robot woman. We met a sketchy homeless dude. We met a homeless woman as well. Man, we didn't make anything worth of money last time we played. But we did actually get one of our people taken off the investigation board, so that was nice. Hopefully that was a good decision, and doesn't end up that he's, actually the murderer, and we screwed up somehow. But I don't think it would soft lock you like that early on. Surely, right? But here we are on day 4 now. I think we're going to try and get as many people as we can this run. Okay. Yeah. At least we at least need to get some more money. The passenger who sinks into the backseat of one is one of the hordes of cyclists you almost always hit at the red lights. She's a bike courier. Courier? Yeah. The kind who pays no attention to red lights, stop signs, or right-of-way. She gives you a smile. Holy shit, it's flippin' freezing out. Smile. Do we know each other from somewhere? I don't think so. I've probably just cut you off on my bike or something. Or maybe it was me. Maybe I changed lanes without signaling. We both burst out laughing. She gives you an address. It's for a delivery, but it's too cold. I can't seem to get warm. You start the cab up and turn the heat to high. Warm air fills the cab. The young woman nods. Thanks. That's exactly what I'm here for. She closes her eyes, as if to enjoy the muffled hum of the heater. I hope you don't mind. There was no way I was going to get back on my bike. I left it behind with my colleagues in front of that restaurant. She sighs. I know it's pretty counterproductive paying for a cab ride to deliver food, but all the warm air, it feels good. How's work going? The young woman is struggling to stay awake. Pretty good. Though I had a run-in with one of my colleagues tonight. She falters. He's a real know-it-all. The kind of guy who thinks he's been there, done that. The work itself is pretty good, though. In the winter, we do a lot of business. People stay holed up in their homes like rabbits. I have to say, I understand. She yawns. I'm warming up, but I sure am tired all of a sudden. She closes her eyes. Sorry, we're already here. You pull up to the address. Right, back to work. The delivery girl quickly exits the cab, slamming the door behind her. She rings the door of an elephant Parisian building. A moment later, the door cracks open. The courier hands her client a plastic bag with takeout containers inside. She smiles. The door shuts. She rushes over to the cab and flings herself into the back seat. Come on, let's get out of here, fast. You start the cab. Back to the restaurant, please. I left my bike there. Well, that's it. Well, that's that. Her phone chirps. Business is picking up. She sighs. But yeah, I think I'm going to wait a little. Check it later. She settles comfortably in the back seat and closes her eyes. What are you delivering? Sushi. Wait, sushi. It's so not sushi this time of year. But Parisians are crazy about sushi, though not exactly the kind we eat at home. She bursts out laughing. Nah, I shouldn't complain, really. At least I can take it easy on my bike. There's no one to really mess around with me. She lets out a silvery laugh. It's very smooth in tone, the laugh of someone you can trust. What did you do before? Marketing. Startup company. One of those super pretentious places where everyone speaks 3 languages and only eats whole grain. And my boss was a total asshole who was always grabbing my ass. A look of revulsion flickers across her face. So now I'm done with all that. She looks serious, as if she had just concluded a long speech. So that, my friend, is why I wouldn't trade in my bike for all the world. Any prospects for the future? No, you're right. Not much as far as prospects go. It's not like I'm going to be made team manager or anything, that's for sure. But it's not all bad. There are worse jobs around. And I know what you're gonna say. I'm being exploited, badly paid, all that. But the worst part is actually the customers. You look at her in surprise. No, I swear it's true. You deliver their dinner because they're worn out after working all day, and then they don't even tip you a single euro. Still, they are understanding and all that. They give me articles about all the big, bad delivery businesses abusing us, and then they order sushi from the restaurant down the street. Never trust his stomach. She makes a little farting sound with her mouth. Believe me, bunch of cheapskates. She stops you with a gesture before you can speak. But that's all. But all that, it's just for the time being, promise. I'm putting a little aside, like my father always said. I'm going to open a takoyaki food truck. Have you ever had takoyaki? You pull up to the restaurant. A swarm of bike couriers are waiting for their orders. Yes. Oh, cool. I want it to be the latest thing. It's basically a pretty simple idea. Sell them to people lined up for concerts, movies, plays. She smiles. Anyhow, I'm out of here. There's a lot of starving people in Paris, and we don't want to let them down. She hands you the fare and exits the cab. Thanks again. Really, you're good company. If you ever need a shortcut, just ask. She gives you a smile, then walks over to her crew. Not a bad little conversation. See, I feel like I should be going for some of these, but I just don't really have money. I mean, I do. I have 250 euro almost, but like, I don't know. We had like $200 worth of bills yesterday, so I just don't really. And I think it was like $250 just to get information one time. She's like right here. Might as well go to her. Yeah, I'm gonna wait a bit on more news. I'm gonna see what I can get out of passengers. The woman getting into your taxi does not look like she's at her best. Mouth lolling open, eyes unfocused, out of breath. She looks like she's just been punched in the gut. Or like she's seen a ghost. She struggles to take her backpack off and makes several attempts. The strap gets caught in a buckle in her overalls. She sighs and gets annoyed. During this whole process, she doesn't look up at you once. She takes a deep breath. Place des fatis. Her voice is emotionless. More of a trickle than a voice, coming out of a childish body. It sounds like it took every bit of energy she had to get those words out. She takes her phone out of the bag, hesitates, starts swiping left to right, right to left. She's completely absorbed. You think you can make out the reflection of a colorful mobile game in her glasses. Silence settles heavily in the cab. It is broken occasionally by something that sounds like a hiccup or a repressed sob. At a red light, she raises her head and lowers it the second her gaze crosses yours in the rearview mirror. Something about her makes you feel like you've got something caught in your throat. Rough night? She looks up, surprised you broke into her bubble, and her gaze darkens a bit more. Yeah, you might say so. She's not crying, not shaking, just the occasional spasm. A few seconds go by. You attempt to focus on the road, but despite both of your efforts to pretend nothing is wrong, her emotions invade the cab. She finally takes the plunge, like she's jumping off a cliff. Can I talk to you? Still the same trickle of a voice and great lengths taken to control it. I'm sorry, it's stupid, but I think I need someone to talk to. I'm listening. She takes a deep breath. I need to say it out loud. You stay silent, since she needs you to be silent. That guy touched me in the bar. Her voice is twisted like a nearly emptied tube of toothpaste. Tears collected in her eyes. You feel really heavy. What do you mean, what do you mean? You know what she means. Let's remain silent. Be respectful. She starts talking again. Her tone is slightly different. She sounds more confident. Like saying those words out loud made her feel a bit more alive again. Or like she wanted to be stronger. He came up from behind me and touched me. Way too much. Her voice breaks over the last few syllables. The silence in the cab absorbs everything, even the noise of the traffic. You don't even hear the ambulances going by, and lights flashing. I want to talk about it, but I also don't really know what to say. Just say whatever comes to mind. It took me way too long to understand what was happening. Way too long. I didn't get it. I was petrified. She looks about 30 years old, maybe. Not far from 30. But you get the impression you're driving a little girl who had just had her innocence stolen. One minute I was standing there in the crowd. The Furiosa is like my second home. I always go there to hang out with friends because they all live in the neighborhood and our places are all too small. She takes a breath, and you follow suit, unconsciously. Everything was fine. There was a concert, I was happy. I had a bit to drink, but not too much. It was packed, but the music was sweet. It was a good night. I was having a good night. Another breath. You know what it's like when you're packed into a crowd like sardines? You don't really know who's touching you, but that's just the way crowds are. She lays her telephone on the seat and leans forward, elbows on her knees and head in her hands. Her backpack falls onto the floor. She doesn't make the slightest move to pick it up. I didn't get it. Fuck, why didn't I get it? I didn't even react. She stares at you. Why didn't I react? You should talk to the police about this. She leans ever so gently towards you. Sir, you know what? You're right. For the first time since you sat down in your cab, you feel a sense of relief. I can drop you off at the station. You stop to think for a second. I can even wait for you if you'd like. She leans over to you. I'd do the same if I were you. And I'm sincerely grateful. But no, not tonight. I just can't bring myself to do it. She grabs her bag and sits up, suddenly more outspoken. You know, you read story after story about women who've been assaulted. You say to yourself, okay, got it. If it happens to me, I'll rip his head off, scream, make a scene, hit him. He won't get away with it. You convince yourself you're stronger than them, that you know how to protect yourself, stand up for yourself. She pauses, barely. It's hard to bear. I'm angry with myself. I didn't do anything. I just stood there, frozen. Like a fucking idiot. Everyone was totally entranced in the concert. They were dancing, drinking, laughing, screaming. And I was frozen. It was like a wave of ice had washed over me. Everything had just collapsed around me. It was like I was stuck inside my own body. All I could feel were his fingers worming their way in. I didn't know how long it had lasted. I was disconnected. I let him do it. Her last words hang in the air and work their way into your thoughts. You become aware of your sweaty hands on the steering wheel. She pauses, starts talking again. A part of me froze on the spot. Another part was screaming inside. At one point, the crowd shifted. There was a bit of a rush or something. That's when my brain started functioning again, like someone had flipped a switch. I wanted to turn around, but his hand disappeared. I couldn't see who it was and just stood there like an idiot. All that was left was a normal gathering of normal people. Who does that? I mean, really, who does that? I ran over to the bar. I don't even think I know how I got there. I couldn't feel my legs. My friends were still waiting for their beers. I bursted into tears. A brief pause, just enough to open her eyes wide. I think the worst part was that my friend made fun of me. Oh, fuck, dude. They saw me walking up in tears. I did my best to explain what happened, and they thought it was hilarious. Oh, come on. Berenice? They said, calm down, it's no big deal, relax. Only my guy friends were there tonight. Oh. They're not bad guys, you know? But they're not always so bright. I usually get along better with guys. But I really wished one of the girls had been there. Hearing them laugh was so harsh. When it happened, I didn't really know what to say. I mean, maybe they're right? Was it no big deal? She pauses and looks away. I should never have gone to that concert. She loses herself in thought. You wonder how you would have reacted if something like that had happened to you. You try to remember how you did react. I went outside, walked around a bit. They didn't even text me or anything. It's not normal. No, nothing about tonight is normal. Nothing. I just wish I could make it all go away. It scares the shit out of me. How it's so definitive, permanent, unavoidable. I already know it will hang over my whole life. How I wish I could have made it go away, turn back time. Like in a video game. F5, F6, quick save, quick load. Swish, you erase your mistakes. A moment of absence, some horrible thing had happened, over and done. You know just what she's talking about. The feeling that suddenly, in 1 second, a split second, your fate is changed forever. There's no going back. You expect to see Aid's face in the rearview mirror? Have you ever done anything like that, sir? I beg your pardon? Have you ever hurt anyone? Any woman? She asks the question again, like she thinks you might not have heard it the first time. It's not as simple as that. The passenger breathes in. You can hear her leaning in, looking for an answer. I don't know. Indeed, you don't know. Images and sounds come to mind in flashes. People suddenly staring. Faces whose expressions shift in barely noticeable ways. Voices that no longer speak. The sour smell of sweat, the touch of skin that is suddenly chilled. Is it possible that each time you blink, you brush off a new image? You speak up again with a half smile that's supposed to be reassuring. Yeah, I probably have hurt a woman before, but not like that. I'm trying to understand, and you see I'm skeptical. Sorry, I'm thinking about my friends and the way they reacted. In what way is this no big deal? Why exactly should I calm down? If they think I need to calm down, they must think that kind of behavior is normal. That normal people do that kind of thing. I'm sure they've got friends, a job. I mean, they're not guys who look like serial killers that just escaped from the loony bin. I'll never set foot in that bar again. Ever. You're getting closer to your destination. Your voice sounds far away. Drop me off at the light. I need to walk a bit. You pull over. She's shaking. It's like you're in slow motion. I'm sorry for all of that. You mutter something incomprehensible. Actually, you don't really know what you want to say anyway. She pays her fare and walks off without a word. You close your eyes for a long while before turning the key in the ignition. I'll have to check out the description of this game. Seems interesting. Yeah, I mean, they're not really holding back with some of these fucking stories for some of the passengers. But I like that, though. I like that they're dealing with like real things that can happen. It makes these characters feel more lived in, more real. Definitely not how I thought this game was gonna go, but I'm really enjoying it. And there's, I think, like 75 people you can interact. Look at this. These are all the different people you can like pick up and meet. Like that one girl, that like 20-ish minute conversation we just had as one person, which was her down here. Yeah. But I mean, some of them even have like multiple interactions. Like this person I've picked up twice, and there's still 2 more interactions I can have with them. So there's a lot that you can do. And I know it's replayable. There's like, I think there's like 2 or 3 different types of story you can do. But even if you go back to do the same one, I think it will switch who your serial killer actually is. So it's not always the same story, which is very cool. Let's go pick up Santa. Let's go see what Santa has to say. Out of nowhere, you hear a voice whisper in your ear. This is where I died. You brake hard. There's no noise in the cab, no noise outside. Whoa. A silhouette appears on the back seat of the cab. Features appear one by one as if drawn with a paintbrush. So much suffering. Hey, welcome in, Shadow. Good morning. You squint. A little boy. Would you be so kind as to drive me? Get out. Yeah, no, where? Very well. Let us drive, then. The boy's silhouette flutters for a moment, then disappears entirely. You hold your breath. On the back seat behind you, the boy slowly reappears. You start driving. The Aranese de Paris, please. You jump. You see the specter behind you, seated in his usual spot. His silhouette seems warm and kind. 49 Rue Mong, I think. Come on, get going. I don't want to miss the beginning of the show. Show? Well, yes, the amphitheater show. You don't answer, and are evidently surprised. There's a Roman amphitheater in Paris. Were you not aware of this? A Roman amphitheater? The amphitheater is right in the middle of the Latin Quarter. Hidden, mysterious, very discreet. Ghost! Yet one night, I heard music, and I followed the scent. The scent of garum filled the streets that evening, as cooks busily worked around the fire. Garum? A sauce made from fermented fish offal. Gag. It's delicious. Lightly nod. I assure you it's delicious. The smell of garum goes right to your head, makes you salivate. In any case, once you taste it, you love it. Anyway, I was walking towards the amphitheater. Little ghost pauses, trying to remember where he left off. I entered the gate and I saw all of Paris behind me. For 2,000 years, the spirits of the city had gathered there to reenact the festivities of days gone by. An old poet with gaped teeth recited a few words, always the same passages. We bring fighters into the middle of the ring and reenact Roman battles. He smiles slightly. My mother would scold me after saying this, but the bear always triumphs over the Christian. You are struck with a strange smell. Garum, maybe? Sour, thick, vinegary, repulsive, and compelling. Your small passenger silhouette begins to fade. The living, you only see things on the surface, their edges, their crests. The amphitheater is tied down to the earth, like it has roots. It's not going anywhere. Ever. Its roots run beneath the city. They touch speed limit markers, houses, cobblestones, Roman baths. He stops, and breathes. The salty taste in your mouth is making you thirsty. All the way to Rome. I would have liked to go to Rome. He lifts his hands to point to something in the distance. I'll get off there. Before you can make the slightest move, the little ghost disappears in a split second. You stop the cab and take a minute to collect yourself. Well, that had nothing to do with fucking Santa. Did that mark him on the board? Yeah, what a little guy. Unless maybe there was like 2 pictures on top of each other. And I had clicked the little boy instead. Like this. But I don't know if it was like that. Let's go see what this lady is all about. You look up an office tower, somewhere high up, and there's still a light on there. Passenger who enters the cab makes you feel immediately uncomfortable. Hard to say why exactly. Perhaps the smooth plastic set of his features. Oh, I thought that was a woman. Or his odd appearance, a mad assortment of mismatched clothes. Good evening, good day. His shrill intonations are offensive to your ear. Was he very posh? Tell me, good fellow and driver, would you be so kind as to take me to Rue Perrichon, number 96? As he speaks, you can almost hear the deeper accent of what seems like a second voice. Sure. You nod slowly and start the car, casting an anxious look in the rear-view mirror ever so often. Sorry to bother you and disturb you, but I was wondering if you'd be willing to answer a few short questions and queries. Why not? Thanks for opening up to me and for being so open-minded, too. Good day and good evening. Do you think building roller coasters is a normal thing to do? The question sends you for a loop. Wasn't at all what you were expecting. What? Apologies, sorry. Perhaps my query and questions aren't clear. Let me try again. No, it's fine. I understood the question. It's just that... Why do you ask? My question mustn't bother and disturb you, otherwise it won't work. Let's say we try another question, if it's agreeable to you, of course. What's with this guy? Who is he? Good day and good evening. Why have you yet to colonize the satellite you call the moon? He pauses momentarily, and you try to connect the dots. Not you, personally, of course, but you as a species. Who are you? I'm just like you, no more, no less, a human being. He stops, weighing his words carefully before going on. I cried, I wept, just like you did when Ross and Rachel got married. Are you convinced that I'm one of yours now? Absolutely not. Who are you? The customer leans in closer, and you get a whiff of a strange scent, like a mixture of turpentine and peas. And let's just forget it, okay? You nod in agreement. Definitely want to forget it. But one last question or query first, and then I'll leave you alone. One last question is fine by you. Good day and good evening. Why is your own individual freedom more important to you than those of a species and community as a whole? You examine your passenger closely. You're reluctant to speak, as if he were speaking through you. As if you were hypnotized. Because we're selfish? We always put our own interests first. We're made that way. Pause as your passenger rights his posture with a movement of the shoulders. You are surprisingly honest and frank. I know the people who live in this city. I could count the number of people willing to make a sacrifice for one another's well-being on a single hand. Suddenly you're unable to speak, as if the words were trapped inside your throat. The passenger on the seat beside you gives a dry smile, as if he knows exactly what is going on. Thanks, H. He stops short. He doesn't actually pronounce your name, but you seem to hear what he's thinking. Sorry, I forgot. You don't want the information and knowledge to get out. Was it my old name? You absently pull up your address he had given you. Your passenger hands you a fare and then some. Meeting you and making your acquaintance was a memorable experience. Adieu. He exits the cab. You're still paralyzed, but you don't panic. Your body seems to know what's best, and you can sense your muscles relax. A minute later, you let go of the steering wheel, and the paralysis has ended. You took a look at the outside door window. A quite Parisian neighborhood, utterly uneventful. Not as swanky as the rest of the 16th adolescent. Your customer has vanished into thin air. You sit there a moment longer before making up your mind to leave. The sooner you pick up a new passenger, the sooner you'll forget this guy. Crime, crime, cats, ghosts, aliens? Yeah, dude. I haven't been getting, like, any normal passengers lately. I've been getting, like... Well, I've gotten a few, but they all, like, had, like, some crazy trauma happen. But, like... There's been a lot going on this stream, Shadow. My voice is taking a beating. Also, I keep trying to do voices for certain characters. Because I want them to have different personalities. But trying to do a voice, like a consistent accent or a voice along with reading is kind of hard sometimes. I'm not the best auditory reader. But, you know, practice makes perfect, I guess. Alright, let's go to this guy. This guy looks normal. I might regret those words. The passenger getting into your cab is clearly upset. He gives you an address near the Pantheon. You know the address. A residence for foreign students. You often give American and Chinese students there. Or drive, jeez. You start the cab. The passenger in the backseat is furious about something. Excuse me. He has a very thick American accent. Look up. Could I ask you something? You nod. How did the police usually treat black people in your country? I mean, in general. What is their behavior like? He isn't very sure in his pronunciation. Answer honestly. I'd say the police have a problem with black people. You reveal your teeth as you continue speaking. And Arabs. And anyone else wearing a hoodie. A hoodie? Yes, wearing sweats. Yeah, if you dress like someone from the poor neighborhoods, they give you a hard time. What does Rasael mean? It's a new word to him. You shake your head. Well, it's a word of sort of negative connotation. Negative? Yes, definitely. Gives you a little smile. Now I get it. They thought I was a lowlife. A rascal. Oh, is it rascal? Like rascal, maybe? Even with your accent? Well, they didn't seem to understand me very well. Or maybe they thought I was making fun of them. He sighs. You give him a second to catch his breath, and his anger seems to be letting up. Everything alright? Gives you a strange look. I don't know. I'm not feeling well. Takes a deep breath. Look, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have jumped on you with that question like that. Don't worry about it. This afternoon, after school, I got mugged in the metro by some guy. His voice drops to a whisper. He was the same age as me. He stole my money, my phone. Raises his voice a little. Luckily, I'll still have my credit card and my papers. I went straight to the police station, and I was there for 8 hours. I'm tired, upset, ready to quit. He raises his voice even more. I like France, but it's just as hard here as it is at home. People look down on you because they don't like the look of you. That's the right expression, isn't it? You nod yes. They say France is the land of freedom, of human rights. But But you have to behave a certain way here too, the right way. He screws up his eyes. I'd like to be judged objectively, but I guess there's no such thing as objectiveness. He settles back into his seat. What are you studying? Excuse me? A minute ago, you said you were leaving school when you were mugged. What were you studying? Studying to be a mime. Pause. Go ahead, say it. I didn't say anything. No, but go ahead, I'm used to it. I'm not going to make fun of it or anything. I just didn't know mime schools existed. He gives you a big smile. Imagine when I moved to France to study it. My American friends are still having a good laugh. What exactly are you learning to do? Acting techniques, stage production, makeup, anything related to the art of mime, really. There's no schools for it in the US? Passenger gives a little laugh. No. That's why I don't want to leave, but it's the only way, it's the only thing keeping me in France. Sigh. France is not for everyone. What do you mean? I mean, the French usually stand up for their country. They're worse than Americans. A country is like a romantic relationship. You can't fall in love with everybody. We all have our likes, our dislikes, and we fall under the spell again. He's watching you. Are all cab drivers philosophers like you? You flash a smile. I don't think so. The passenger gives a little laugh, then his eyes glaze over with an expressionless, perhaps even sad look. Thanks, man. It was good talking to you. He slips into the informal to form, no doubt by accident. I have a hard time controlling my anger sometimes. That's why I had trouble with the police today. How so? Well, what a start. They made me sit in a room for hours with a woman who was clearly a prostitute. They didn't want me to take my statement. They didn't want me to file a complaint. I had to insist. They made fun of my studies, but I'm used to that. A small smile appears in the corner of his mouth. And then, when I started to get a little mad when I mentioned the American embassy, they said if I wasn't happy here, I should go home. Certain innuendos were a little... When I got out, there was no more metros, so here I am, telling my life story to a philosopher cabbie. He gives you a smile. Cops, it's complicated here. Do they treat you badly too? You smile and shake your head. No need for him to know. Suddenly, the Pantheon appears among the dark buildings. Its white dome breaks up the dull orange and brown tones of the Parisian night sky. Your passenger breathes a little sigh of satisfaction. It's beautiful, isn't it? No doubt about it. You park in front of the residence like where the young man lives. He pays his fare and stretches his hands towards you. I've discovered 10% of the Pasidex. Thanks again. Meeting you was just what I needed. Lord. You shake his hand. He has a strong, confident grip. You know, you should film your rounds at night. It'd make a great series. You answer with a smile. He opens the door, gives you a big smile, and disappears. You hold your arms close to your sides for a moment. You catch your breath, try to control the anxiety welling up inside. The mere mention of police. You start the cab. The passenger slips into the back seat, dragging a backpack that apparently weighs a ton. You want me to put that in the trunk? She refuses politely with a shake of the head. Thanks, but I'm going to have to get used to keeping it with me. It's going to be on my back for an entire month. You smile and start the cab. A glance in the rear view mirror, your passenger is rather young, and a camera around her neck looks very expensive. I immediately thought he had a fucking gun in it. Oh, the bag? Her backpack, scarf, and clothes are fairly worn. Where are you heading? She doesn't answer right away. She lowers her eyes. I'm on my way to Greece to join the NGO rescue vessel. NGO? An association, that is. It helps migrants trying to make the crossing. I'm going to do a story on them. Oh, are you a journalist? She smiles, the first since you set off. Yes, a photojournalist. They make the crossing even in winter? They make the crossing whenever they get the chance, regardless of the time of year or the weather. The EU has just closed its surveillance and rescue program. Only non-governmental associations are doing anything to help now. So I'm on my way. I volunteered. I even made a fuss to get the assignment. Her tone of voice is increasingly shrill. I read first-hand accounts. I talked to journalists who have worked on the subject. We can't just ignore the whole thing. She gives a short laugh. I even played a video game about refugees. Beautifully done. Really powerful. I knew I couldn't just sit back and watch. This is my chance to show the world what's going on there. The passenger's phone starts to ring. Oh, sorry, As she glances at the caller, her face freezes. She sighs. A troubled smile flickered across her face, and then takes the call. Hi, Dad. I'm in the cab. Right. Yeah, I told you. I tried, but he wouldn't change his mind. Come on, Dad. I already told you I'll be fine. They wouldn't be sending me there if I were... She moves the phone a bit farther from her ear. Come on, Dad, stop. Dad. Listen, everything's going to be fine. I'll be there for 20 days with a group of professionals who have been doing this for years. That's right, a group of rescue professionals. Would you just stop? She sighs heavily. It's no use. She's been down this road 1,000 times. We're about to get to a tunnel. Mademoiselle, you're going to cut out. The young woman looks up at you in surprise, then her face lights up. Did you hear that? I'll have to go. I'll call you back as soon as I'm... She is interrupted again. That's right, I'll call back. She hangs up, wide-eyed, and breathes a long sigh. My parents, they can be a little much at times. She smiles. Anyhow, thanks for jumping in there. You can sense the tension, the waves of frustration and anxiety welling up inside of her. Her unhappiness and anxiety are palpable. She closes her eyes, collecting her thoughts, and trying to dispel her negative emotions. If only I had a little more time. Is there anything I can do to help? No, thank you, I'll be fine. You already got me out of that never-ending conversation. I was just thinking that I'd like to be able to do a little yoga. It helps me relax. It's an amazing way to wind down, to calm and release tension. There must be a yoga room somewhere in the airport. I can pull over if you'd like. She looks at you closely, not sure what to think. What do you mean? There's a gas station up ahead, a rest area for truck drivers. There won't be anyone there right now. Alright, sure, why not? There's no more talk for a few minutes. Your passenger glances out the window every now and then. You drive past the gas station, the main building, the trucks, then get to a small, quiet rest area. A clearing, lit up by your headlights, and the moon suddenly appears. There is no one around. The air is cool. The young woman leans in towards you. Is this the place? You nod. It's incredibly calm. as if we were in the middle of the woods. Her eye is taking every detail, every tree and bush. Do you come here often? Whenever I can. She nods and understands. It's so quiet. Even in the middle of the winter, it looks so peaceful. She reaches for the door handle. You won't leave without me, will you? Of course not. She gets out of the cab and puts her things on the picnic table. The wind is chilly and she shivers. She gives you one last look and closes her eyes. For a minute or two, you watch her doing yoga exercises. Her eyes remain closed. Her face gradually starts to relax. A truck behind you pulls out of the rest area. The place has a calming effect onto you too. Some summer nights, you come here to take a nap. The young woman is stretching now. The headlights cast soft shadows among the dark foliage. In the winter, you smoke a cigarette or two, waiting for potential clients to land. The young woman gets back in the cab. She says nothing. There's no need. You sense she's recovered her calm and is ready to face the rest of her journey. You drive away, leaving behind the clearing, the rest area, the gas station. The young woman is sleeping. The road keeps passing by, and before long you're approaching the airport. A moment later you turn down the radio. The song fades. I'll pull up over here. It'll be easier for you to get out of the cab. You get to the airport drop-off zone. A couple of colleagues greet you with a wave. A few bleak-looking passengers are struggling with huge suitcases and car trunks. A security guard sitting on a luggage cart smokes a cigarette, clearly exhausted. The passenger pays the fare, collects her things, but doesn't leave the cab. Thank you for getting me out of that horrible phone call. I love my parents, but they are suffocating. That could have gone on for hours, so thank you. I have to go now. I have the feeling my parents are going to call again. Might as well go in where it's warm and I'm not a disturbance. Take good care of yourself. I will. Promise. She gets out of the cab with all her gear. Your eyes follow her as she heads to the terminal. The airport doors close behind her. You sit there for a minute or two, all by yourself. There's no one around. May as well head out as soon as possible. I don't think we have time for anyone else. Let's listen to the radio. Your finger is poised in front of the car radio. You're trying to find something to listen to. Listen to the news. You happen upon the nighttime news. In a vox pop about the judge, a bystander brings up the fact that the police have still not arrested the homeless man seen near the crime scene. You raise an eyebrow at this bit of news. You didn't know that. As soon as the news is over, you turn off the radio so that the cab is silent again. See, I told you that one fucking homeless dude was a bit suspicious. Yeah, this fucker. He was there on screen for a minute. Let's see if we made some profit today. We didn't. Off by a few dollars. Yeesh. Not really doing too well. Take a few minutes to update your board with new clues. Your neighbor flushes the toilet. Out of the corner of your eye, you see the pipes shake. You glance at your bed and get to work. Homeless man seen around crime 2 and 3. Yeah. See, this guy, I'm sus about him, because the only car ride we've had with him so far, he's been kind of weird. He was seen around crime scene number 3 as well, apparently. Alright. Well, we have no other documents, so I guess that's it for that. With a heavy hand, you wipe your tired face. You lie down on the sofa bed. The frame creaks. The events of the day run through your head. The streets, the passengers, their faces, and their problems. Your brain is running at full speed. Your body aches, and you're in pain. You can tell that you need to get more sleep. You glance at your investigation board. You wish you were far away from here. Far, far away from here. You shake your head and your mind wanders for a second. And a second later, you're asleep. You open one eye. You start whistling some song that's been in your head since you woke up, though you don't know why. It's going to be a long night. And you get up quickly. A few minutes later, you're outside of your studio for night 5. Alright. I think we're gonna call it there. My voice is telling me it's time. I'm not gonna lie. 2 hours of non-stop talking kind of destroys your voice a bit.